this portion of the system, this is what I'm going to call a mobile equipment rack. This will be used when you have instrumentation, if you want to mic the instrumentation, if you want whoever's playing an instrument to be able to hear their instrument, have it come through the sound system. This is a new feature that you probably are not used to having. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not 100% familiar with how your old system was configured. All of this that you see, it looks like a lot of cable right now, and it is a lot of cable, but all of it can be disconnected and stored and moved. This entire rack, everything from the front is either an input or an output, and I'll go over this in a second. This entire rack connects to this one, there's a plate over here, it says D-Snake, and all I have to do is disconnect this cord right here. This entire rack can be moved and stored wherever you want. Plus power. I forgot the power. So it's power and this cable. That's it. Now you can take everything out, store this wherever you want.
Is that as long as that pigtail is?
That is not as long as that pigtail is.
So we can move it to the corner.
Yeah, or maybe in there.
Now this is what's called, this is a special connector. It's called an Ethercon connector. It's basically a network connector protected in a XLR shield, basically, so you don't break it. If for some reason you do break this, you could just use a standard network cable yeah. And connect it to the back. Hopefully you never break these. But it basically just connects right here. There's only one place it can go, and then you plug the power back in and you're good to go. So what is this for again? So I mentioned you can connect a lot of different things into it. So there's a couple different pieces of equipment in this rack. There's a digital snake, and then there's a personal monitor mixing distribution point. So when I say personal monitoring distribution point, what I'm referring to is you have the capability. So you have a bass player, guitar player, vocalist. They have the ability now through these little personal mixers to control their own individual mix for what they want to hear in their ears. So that, again, it seems complicated with all those buttons. It's really not. And we'll go over this again. But basically what they do is they select what they want. They can touch a button. It's listed by channel right now. So basically it's channel 1 through 16. You'll label this for whatever you want it to be. This is the part where the church has to decide what they want these channels to be, what they plug in. But basically if you plug the guitar on channel 1, you select channel 1, you turn it up and down, and you build your own individual mix for your ears, if you will. And they all came with these custom in-ear buds that they can put in and listen to. So those connect, again, these are network cables, so they're very easy to know where they connect for. So there's 4. Basically you line up ME, it says Allen and Heath ME1, so you know that those plug into Allen and Heath MEU. So you just plug them in, they automatically connect, they automatically recognize, you don't have to do anything. You just leave them there, connect them as you will. This top box, this purple box, is the digital snake. And by digital snake, in the audio world, a long time ago, they used to literally pull dozens of copper lines. This is 24 inputs, 24 microphone inputs, and 12 outputs off of one single Cat5 cable. So it runs, that's that D-Snake line, literally runs back to that digital console. So you can patch 24 different things into here. So you can patch 24 different microphones if you wanted to. You could patch 20 of these and 4 drum mics. They all go right here. So just imagine this as an input to your system. Again, this is the manual portion of the system. So it won't be the automatic. This is basically the manual. You want to do a concert. This is where you're going to plug everything in. Output section. So think of something going into the system as the input. Obviously it sounds elementary, but I have to use the elementary term so you remember it. So what's going in and then what's coming out. So when I say what's coming out, there are 2 outputs here, output 1 and 2, that are actually connected. So output 1 and 2 are connected to these monitor speakers on the floor. Now these speakers are powered monitor speakers. They're not connected to an amplifier. The amplifier is built into the speaker. And I can't... Brian, would you do me a favor and turn up this microphone for me that I'm tapping on? Sure. Please. So that's coming through the system. Check, check, check. And very little right now. It's kind of coming through these monitors. So when you have a performance, Please, just a hair.
And Brian knew which channel to control.
Yeah, and we'll go over that.
Okay.
That's the more in-depth portion. So there it is.
There we go, yeah. Wow.
So these are powered, and they give you pretty good quality, clarity.
And we map those channels in back.
But right now it's a 1-to-1.
Got it.
So channel 1 is channel 1, channel 16 is channel 16.
Okay, okay.
And that has the capability that you can route wherever you want. And you have to be very careful, because if you start routing on larger systems, if you start routing and it gets a little bit complicated, you really need to know what you're doing. Make sure you know where your route goes.
Yeah,
Because it could be channel 1 is showing up at 32, depending on what you're doing. I always recommend keeping it 1-to-1. Channel 1
I
shows
agree.
up in channel 1.
yeah.
Output 1 goes to output 1. So those types of things. So those are connected here. These are our microphone cables, line level. So you can interchange these cables, but they only go in one way and they only go out one way. So you know, if you're trying to connect to these, you got to come out 1 and 2. So you could, theoretically, if you wanted to, you could put 12 of these little boxes all over the place, and you could have 12 individual monitor channels.
How many of these boxes do we have right now? Just the 2? Okay, okay.
Yep, 2.
And the mix to the monitors, again, are controlled.
So if you really wanted to, as we go along and we get kind of more in depth with the training, that's what the iPad could be for. If you don't have somebody dedicated back there, you can bring the iPad up here and you can add more, less. Obviously, you wouldn't want to mix for the house, for the church from here, but they could step out and adjust and do something. So it gives you a lot of flexibility.
And we got an iPad with this system too?
It does.
Yeah.
And that's a point of coordination we'll need to do. I need to know if the church has a Apple account, because the iPad is not set up right now. And the reason being is we can't download the app without having an Apple ID. I can create one for you. But a lot of times we request that the church use an existing Apple account because they may have one. I don't know.
I don't think we do.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Maybe we just should have a separate one just for us.
So it's got to be linked to an iCloud account. It's got to be linked like just as you would a phone or that type of device in order to download the app.
Yep.
It's very straightforward. It's very easy to use, and we can try and do that at the end, or I can give you some instructions and you guys can do it.
Let's do it at the end. Yeah.
So we can come back and answer any questions about this, but this is, again, you plug in, connect the monitors, disconnect them, roll this wherever you want, store it, and store it. On the corner over here, it has a door that I took off so that you could see. You can close it and lock it, do what you need to do.
So while we're down here, how will we be hooking up a digital piano? It's normally plugged into
So you'll take the output, and that's one of the things we'll do. As we get kind of through this, if people want to break away, say, I've got enough information for me to be dangerous, you can break away and we can spend some additional time doing those types of things.
Okay.
But basically, I think there's an XLR input to that.
Yep.
You just go into one of these channels, and it'll be connected.
Okay, so we would have to roll this out then.
Or put it in a corner, wherever you want. Yeah. So,
So this will be a every Sunday event.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would recommend finding a good home for it, maybe like right here,
Yeah.
and just leaving it.
Okay. Yeah, we can figure that out later.
So.
Sounds good.
And I mean, obviously you don't have to, these are the cables that we've provided with your system. You can store these wherever you want. So we can make this look really clean.
Sure.
You don't see pretty much anything except whatever you want to see or what needs to be used.